Okay, so I'm not going to go into a crazy intro. I'm just going to say I have, based off the title, I didn't have any internet. Technically, okay? There's going to be, it's a technical term. So we're going to go back to the beginning. So starting at the beginning of summer, I drove a school bus, and it turns out, summer vacation means you have a extended vacation from work, and you don't control that. So, yeah, I didn't have any work coming, and I was months behind on my internet bill. I was like 2 months already because I have a new car. I'm having to pay for that crap. It sucks. So I'm months behind on bills, and summer vacation came around, and I had to think of a way to get out of this. So I thought, semi-truck driving. I know that pays very well, considering some companies right out the bat pay $1,700 a week. And trust me, that right there, $1,700 a week. Think like this. All right, we're doing 17, 34, so 234s. There's 4 weeks in a month. 34, that's $6,400 a month. Okay, $6,400. That's after taxes. After taxes. That's something that I really wanted. But the companies didn't want to hire me because I had an accident earlier in the year, and they said you gotta wait 3 years before we can hire you. I'm like, oh, son of a gun. And of course, I said the actual cuss word. I didn't say son of a gun. So, oh my god, crap. Okay, well, what am I gonna do? And one of the companies I applied for, they said, well, take a refresher course and we'll talk about hiring you on, which meant they actually needed drivers. A lot of companies really do. So I went to take the refresher course, but as it turns out there was some miscommunication, because within that week of taking it, found out that they just found out that I had been out for 3 years, even though I explained over the phone before I went to do the refresher course, I haven't worked as a truck driver in 3 years. I've been working as a school bus driver. And they said, oh. And they're like, oh, I wish you told us. I'm like, I actually did. I said over the phone, I haven't been driving a semi-truck for 3 years. She's like, oh, you did. Because, this lady at the office like, oh, yeah, I remember now you did tell me that. And it just didn't pop up in the head. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And then the instructor that trains all the truck drivers, the new truck drivers and older truck drivers that go there, like, well, you gotta take a class, like the 4-week class. It takes 4 weeks to learn that stuff. It really does. There's a lot of stuff you gotta go into when it comes to learning truck driving. So he told me that you'd have to take a class. So that night, I went home. I was devastated. And as it turns out, the school bus company screwed me over. I worked for the school bus company, and guess what they did? There was a sign-on bonus they gave everybody. Well, as it turns out, that sign-on bonus also affected everybody's taxes. And the taxes, it ended up costing me $500 to pay back to the IRS. And I never had that issue before until I went back to work there, because I worked there twice. So I went back there a second time, and the information that I put down was the normal, as I do at every job, and I never owe anything. Everything's always paid for. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why do I owe $500? And then I remembered, like, a lot of people at the company ended up owing ended up owing a pretty penny. I'll just say that. Some of them may owe less than I did, but we'll just say everybody owed a pretty penny. And not many people were happy about it. So that kind of hurt me a bit. I was on the floor crying, contemplating on some things. After just sitting on the floor for like an hour, just utter despair, depression, stuff like that. I'm like, I gotta apply for some place else. I mean, I gotta make some money. So I applied for multiple locations. Taco Bell got back to me. I kind of wish I worked for them. That would have been awesome. Free food. But yeah, that they would have hired me right out the bat. They were willing to hire me right out the bat and give me 40 hours or more. They were willing to actually give me more than 40 hours, which I was kind of excited for, but I didn't take it. I got a call from Walmart because I applied for them, and I got an email first, and they said, "Well, okay, we'll give you let's see, what was the email? Oh no, the email was that I had to talk to this lady at this location to discuss, like, interview, I guess, or whatever. Well, the lady wasn't there when I called. They were telling me, yeah, she's not here. She's actually out for the next, like, 2 days. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay. So I hung up, and I'm like, oh, crap. So then came around to, like, 2 days later, I get a call from Walmart. I get a call. And it's one of the locations that I did not apply for. They said, hey, we saw your application. Would you like to come in for, a meeting? I'm like, okay, I could do that. They're like, all right, we need you to fill this information out, this information, this out, this. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, seriously? I had to fill a lot of paperwork out for that crap. I was like, okay, all right, fill this out. Then came the time to do the meeting, and they said, all right, so this is the orientation. This was pretty much just, you're hired. This is your day, this is your hours, this is what you're going to be doing. I'm like, oh. Huh. I figured you guys would be telling me to give me a call back later. So it's like, well, we need help, so, you're hired. What? Oh, okay. So I waited, it was like a week later. I work, and I'm also working at Dollar General at the same time, which apparently is a big no-no for companies because, it's conflict of interest. But I'm thinking, it's like, no, it is not a conflict of interest because it doesn't conflict my interest of anything. If anything, it conflicts your interest on trying to keep a worker, which you are keeping a worker. I don't know what the whole ordeal is with that. I'm just coming up with, random ideas about why they would think it's a problem. So, I work for Walmart. I work for Dollar General. I also get food stamps, about nearly $400 a month. That's really nice. I was getting food, in which, by the way, if you lived like me as a kid, you know how to survive with the bare minimum when you don't have any money coming in. And you have $400 worth of food stamps. I'm like, I'll take this. They could have given me $200 a month, and then I would have taken the other $200 as, like, bills, to pay for some things. But, yeah, it ended up just being, for that. So I worked for Walmart about a month and a half, and I look at my checks, I'm like, even if I'm working 40 hours a week, I'm not making money. I'm not making money at all. Not even a little bit. I'm making about $900 at most every 2 weeks. So I'm making $1,800 a month. So I had to... Well, no, hang on. I was making $1,600 a month at Walmart. Alright, making $1,600. And working for Dollar General gave me an extra $150 a week. So essentially, I'm making, let's see, $150 a week, $300 every 2 weeks. I'm making $2,200 a month, bare minimum. But I had to choose what to, not pay for, what to pay for. And I chose to pay for the necessities, not the luxuries, and that included not paying for the internet. So I'm working at Walmart, or I'm working at Dollar General one day, and I get a notification on my phone saying my camera health is critical. And I'm like, my camera health? What, did a mouse chew up the cord? Because I have it in my pantry because I had mice that kind of kept popping up eating my stuff. So that's the reason why I don't have any food in there. It's on a shelf. So I asked my boss, I'm like, hey, can I take a break? I need to go home and get some food because I don't have the money here to pay for, anything. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you can go home and get that. I had cottage cheese and applesauce at home. Don't judge. It's actually super delicious. Mix apples with cottage cheese. That is really good. I promise you, try it out. So I got home. I get that. I also get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I fix that. Well, I look at my camera. Camera's on. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna check the. I want to check the power cord. I look at it all. I'm like, what's going on? And I look at my computer, which was on. I had Minecraft on there. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Wait, no, I actually had Raft. I had Raft. So I look at that. I'm like, oh, I'm not connected to the internet anymore. And I look at the box, and it's not connected to the internet anymore. The box doesn't have any internet being put into it. Oh, I don't have internet. Thus started the months-long single-player sessions that I've had. And using my hotspot data. This is where the technicality comes in. That's part of the title. My phone has a hotspot, and my computer, the big old beefy computer, has Wi-Fi capabilities. So I connect the computer to my hotspot on my phone, and I have 40 gigabytes of hotspot data I barely ever use. So, you know, that worked. You know, it came in handy, which allowed me to talk to a friend of mine. So I talked to him, and this is about after like 2 weeks, and realized, oh, I have a hotspot. I could just use this on my computer. So yeah, I get on there. I talk to a friend. He's like, oh, you don't have internet? How are you talking to me? I'm like, my phone has a hotspot, so I can use that. Oh, that's clever. I'm like, yeah. So about a month and a half after working for Walmart, I'm like, I'm not making any money. I'm not making money off of this. I need something that's going to pay for my bills, and I just need to get out of the house because this house is falling apart. Thus, I'll be buying a house next year. It's going to be really nice. So, yeah, I go online with my phone because it's like I'm not wanting to waste all my hotspot data just to, you know, have it slowed down to the point where I can't even use the internet. So I'm like, okay, so what do I need to do? And then I just happen to think, this is where the life lesson comes in. A lot of people over the past few years have told me, you should work as a garbage man. They make plenty of money. Instead of driving the school bus, why not work as a garbage man? Plenty of people have told me this, and I just never listened. This is the part where if opportunity knocks, you take it. You absolutely take that. My problem was, I worked for a place and it didn't feel right to just work there and then just up and leave when they needed people. So I just felt really bad about that. Other than Walmart, you know, screw them. So I'm like, okay, you know, I could apply for a garbage man and see, you know, where that goes, if I can even get on. So I put an application into Republic Service, number 2 in the nation. It's the number 2 company in the nation for garbage disposal. And there's a lot of stuff to that as well. But I'll put an application in, and about, I'd say a couple days later, I get an email saying, hey, we're interested. We can do an interview. So set up an interview. I had to take the day off from Walmart to go to the interview. And that kind of was bad, but I was like, oh well, that's fine. No, I really need this job, so sacrifices. So I go to the interview, and, well, no, actually, it was on my day off. That's what it was. I didn't lose any hours, but still, sacrifice what you need to get something done. And I would have sacrificed my hours at Walmart just to go to this interview, even though I really desperately needed money. And that would have been bad for me. But I went to the interview, talked, and then they put me onto a truck for an hour so I can just watch the person. I'm like, I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing, and I want to do it. That's the reason why I applied in the first place. I'm well aware I'm going to have to get in and out of the truck to throw garbage into the can. Which, as it turns out, they do have automated trucks, and I didn't know that at the time. So, yeah, they threw me in, and I watched the guy. The guy was really cool. And they told me it's a really good company to work for. You make plenty of money. You're never going to be broke. So I would highly suggest you take the chance to, you know, work here. I'm like, I'm going to do it. Thank you. So they picked me up. They asked, or you know, what did you think? I'm like, yeah, it didn't have to put me out there. I'm still interested. He's like, oh, cool, okay. All right, well, we'll get back to you if we're going to hire you. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, really? I can work now. So, yeah. That kind of scared me a bit because I'm like, I really need this job. And I'm just like, oh, Lord, help. I need a miracle. And then, well, 2 days later, I get a notification to my email saying, hey, we're willing to hire you. We could do a first day. And I'm talking over the phone. After a day, my phone has access to the email, so that makes it easier. So, get on there. And I filled some information out. I talked to him. I was like, hey, I don't want to be a douchebag to Walmart, but also I kind of hate them. But I really don't want to be the douchebag, so can we wait 2 weeks? Just like, oh yeah, that's fine, that's perfectly fine. I wish I had actually didn't wait the 2 weeks, because I probably would have internet way sooner. So I put the put the information in, we get the date set up and whatever, and then I tell Walmart, and here's where this one gets really interesting. I go to Walmart my last week, and one of the guys says, dude, your last day you could actually take what they call PPTO time, which is essentially it's paid time off, but it is a one of those that's kind of like you gain a little bit faster. So within like a month and a half, actually after like 2 months. I'd say a month and a half. After like a month and a half, I built up about 8 hours, which was an entire work day. Well, actually, it was 7 hours, 7.5 hours, so 7.5 hours. And I put it in, and my boss is like, why did you do that? You could have easily just, like, you could have just called off, and you still would have got those. I'm like, realistically, I just wanted to make it official that I'm calling off, so I'm using this. They're like, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, you're going to be coming in for a half an hour. I'm like, I have my reasons. Which, the whole reason behind that was, I was trying not to look like a douchebag, and if I really need to, a last resort, go back to Walmart and work. See, the thing is, what people don't understand is, I am vague on some things for a reason. I don't tell you crap. Because I have, the last 2 years, I've started working on not explaining in great detail. It's very hard. Old habits die hard, as they say. But, yeah, I put that in because I wanted to make official that I would have still came in on my last day, but for a half an hour. And they went ahead and put it in that I'm off work. I still got paid for it, though. It was fantastic. I got paid for 8 hours. I loved it. Now, this is where this story doesn't end about Walmart, though. I work for Republic Service, and I've been there for 2 weeks at this point, still in training. It's like the first week we had to go through classes and stuff, learn the trucks, learn that, can't rip down power lines. That's an interesting one. Yeah, so I worked there for 2 weeks, and then I get switched to a new trainer, because for the first week I went to class, and the second week I was on a truck, actually to learn how to use the truck. After 2 days, one trainer, he can't take doing a training because, believe it or not, the company only pays you an extra $1 an hour to train someone. So, yeah, it's not worth it. Don't know why, though. No one knows why it's only $1 an hour. It should be $5 an hour at minimum. At minimum. That'd be worth it. So I was like, okay. I guess I get a new trainer tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, you'll be getting a new trainer. So I get a new one. Well, that morning, turns out I was supposed to be paid by Walmart, which also happened to be a check that I needed to pay for car insurance, rent, and, well, anything else that entailed, that before I got paid the next day. I was on my last leg with the insurance company. That was the big problem. So I go to work. That morning before I leave for work, I noticed I had a deposit from Walmart in my checking account. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got the money, and then I was just about to pay, and then I look at the time, and I'm like, well, I'm running late. I'll just take care of this at the end of the day when I get home. No need to rush this. So I do that. And then I get to work. And it is my supervisor. He takes me out. He says, one of the other guys, he's out in another location. He'll be training you from now on. I'm just going to take you out to see what you can do. So we go to a location where I used to work for Papa John's and Domino's. So I knew the whole area with pizza delivery. Fantastic. I also do what we do, yard waste, recycle, and trash, as well as bulk pickup, which is couches, mattresses, that's bulk pickup. Also dressers. I really don't know why people want to throw out a dresser when they could keep using it. Unless it's broken. That's the only reason why. Some of these people really do throw out weird stuff that looks brand new. Well, either way, take me around the area. I knew the area very well. And we stopped into a gas station. And I wanted a breakfast item because I didn't eat any breakfast that morning. So I wanted to go grab 2 donuts and chocolate milk. Which, by the way, when you're doing garbage disposal work like that, do not drink milk. It's not good for you. And I found out about a week later why you don't drink anything dairy related. It does not sit well, especially with hard work. So I scan my card. It says decline. I'm like, weird. Maybe there's an issue. And the person at the cash register is like, yeah, this one occasionally has issues. Which I knew that because I've been to that Casey's gas station a few times in the past. There have been issues. I'm like, okay. I scan it again. It says decline. Like, weird. Okay, now I'm getting kind of scared. She said, alright, I actually don't know what's going on. It should be working. I mean, this thing does have issues. So maybe it's like, we'll try a third time. So I try a third time. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why does it keep saying decline? Well, look at my bank account. I'm negative. I'm like, huh? I'm negative like $30 because I had to pay for a bill. So I'm negative like $30 in my bank account. I'm like, okay, something's going on. So I look, and my check for Walmart got taken out. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So then I instantly think, well, my mother also, she works for Walmart. So I'm like, I'm going to call her to let her know. It's like, hey, Walmart had... You might want to check her bank account. Walmart, might have taken your check today. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Walmart just took my check back. She's like, no, they didn't. I'm like, yeah, they did. I don't have the money in my bank account anymore. I was paid, and then it got taken out like an hour and a half later. It's like, okay, well, maybe Walmart didn't take it out. Maybe the bank had issues. Like, I never have the issues with this bank. Except maybe like every other year, but that's just for maintenance purpose. That's the only other time that I'll ever have issues. So I've never had issues with the bank. PNC, it's an amazing bank. And I'm like, alright, what's going on? I call the bank. They said, well, as it turns out, Walmart did take the money out. I'm like, I thought that's what happened, but then I was also thinking maybe you guys had an issue. She's like, no. Here's Walmart withdrew it out. There's some reason behind why they would do that though. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. I need my check. So I called Walmart. I called the location that I used to work at. The HR person wasn't even there that day, so it kind of sucked. But then I asked one of the other people, I need you to check something if you can. So they get supervisor. I explain the whole situation. They're like, okay, let me check something. So they go in the office, they check. It's like, oh, okay, now I understand why. I'm like, oh, there's an explanation behind it? Please tell me. Yeah, since you left during the middle of a pay period or whatever, that, your check is right here. They have in paper. I'm like, what? Yeah, we have a paper check for you. Huh? What? Why? What? Why is there a paper check? Why? It was directly deposited in my bank account. She's like, I don't know. I really don't. Confuses me too, because I don't know why they would actually get directly deposit it and then take it out. And yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm like, okay, this is concerning. So I had to call off work. In the middle of the day, I went to my supervisor. I was like, I have to go. He's like, why? I'm like, Walmart has a paper check for me all the way at the store I used to work for. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no. That's why I'm negative on my bank account right now. He's like, okay, go ahead. And I leave, and I tell my trainer, like, hey, I gotta get going. I got some issues. And he's like, oh, okay, go get that solved. So I leave. I go to the store, and a couple of them there, they're like, what are you doing back here? I'm like, Walmart forgot to tell me, like, they did not inform me I have a paper check here. And I explained the whole situation. Now, that's messed up. I'm like, you're telling me it is messed up. It is my check, and I needed it, and they kept that from me. He's like, you see why, some people leave Walmart? They're not very nice to ex-employees. I'm like, sure, clearly. So I get the paper check, and I realize I gotta put it in my bank account. Otherwise, I'm gonna have an overdraft fee, and I don't like those. I've had plenty of those in the past, and they're not friendly. They're like $35 a day for an overdraft fee. I had to, stop driving a semi-truck for a day just to go take care of that at the bank. So, yeah. Led to that. And I had to wait an entire day just to pay for my car insurance, to pay for a couple other bills, and that was a fantastic 24 hours. Sarcastically speaking. So, this goes on for, well, I had to deal with that, and then I'm going on for another 2 months, and then finally leads up to this, where I finally got internet back, and I'm putting up a video that is lame as can be, but it is an informative one to tell you there's a life lesson to learn here. That life lesson is this: take an opportunity when it knocks. Don't ignore it like I did. I ignored an opportunity when I was told years ago, you should drive a garbage truck. It's well profitable. What? I don't know. I kept saying, excuse me. I kept saying, no, I don't know. And I really didn't. I didn't know. And came time that, back in August, I got hired on and realized, yeah, I want to do this. It's well profitable. And believe it or not, I did the math. And in about a year, I get paid about 23 something an hour. So essentially, it's going to be nearly $24 an hour. So we'll say $24 an hour. I did the math, and that's about $60,000 a year at $24 an hour. Now, I did a math at $28 an hour, and that's about $80,000. You want to know why, though? Overtime. In our country, we have overtime, and overtime is time and a half. Time and a half, let's say this, at $19 an hour right now, I make $19 an hour for 40 hours. Past 40 hours, I'm making $28.50, because you take half of 19, you get $9.50. Okay, so I'm making $28.50 for 20 hours. That entails that gives me about $1,000 a week, nearly $1,000 a week. If I didn't set it up to where I had $45 taken out of my money for taxes, I would be, if I didn't have that taken out for taxes, I would be making $1,000 a week. But since I have $45 taken out per check, I'm making, $900 something a week. But after next year, I'll be making about $1,100 a week, which is really nice. And then, well, actually, no, I think I'm making about 1,200, 1,300. I think it's somewhere around there. Either way, I'll be making plenty of money, and I'll be able to pay for all my bills within 2 checks, which is really nice. The other two, so let's say 1,200. I'll be making $4,800, and we'll just leave it at that. And then all the bills get paid within 2 checks. The other 2 checks are savings money in whatever that I want. So I'm probably giving myself $200 to spend a month, and that'll give me roughly, now let's say about $1,800 a month to save. And I have my friend moving in with me, so it's gonna be really nice next year. But yeah, the life lesson to learn is take the opportunity when it comes knocking. Take the opportunity when it comes knocking. Do not ignore it. If someone tells you that you can make plenty of money, do your research on it. Do your research and actually take the opportunity on it when you see that there is money to be made here. There is money to be made. I refused to take that, and then that kind of backfired on me. So mistakes were made. I learned the life lesson, and now I'm working a job that fixes all my issues. So I know you guys didn't really enjoy this. It's more informative on what's been going on the last, like, I'd say 6 months. What's been going on for, like, the last 6 months. And now I'm back, but I'm just gonna upload whenever. And that's just it. I'm gonna leave it at that. I work 5 days a week. I get 2 days off a week if I choose to not work Saturdays. I can work Saturdays, but the best thing is I get paid 8 hours for working 1 hour. Fantastic. Love it. So, yeah. It's a wonderful job. If anybody in here watches it is looking for a job to work, I suggest calling Republic Service and asking if they have a training. They have any training they can do, because then they might. And it's really nice. You work 5 days a week, 2 days off, and it's a guaranteed what your hours are going to be. You're home every night. And if you get your work done sooner, you could be home by about 1:30 in the afternoon. You go to work at like 5 in the morning. You leave work at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you get the rest of the day. Just make sure you go to bed about 8:30, 9 o'clock, because then you're going to need rest for the next day. So, yep. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry that it's not very exciting news or whatever. This is something that, no one would really like. This is something that people would really not want to know, but I'm just adding an informative video to the channel, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So, I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. I'm not going to say a guaranteed date later in the week. I'm just going to say, see you in the next video. Peace out.